All right, let's raise a toast to the Cowboy, Donald Cerrone. Yeehaw, that's a good Bud Light. Because that may just be the last time we see his ass inside the cage. Yes, sirree, Bob. After the 42nd destruction at the hands of Conor McGregor inside the octagon tonight. Okay, what's up, guys? Paul here with a new YouTube reaction vlog. So, there's only one place to start today. Only one trending topic. That is Conor McGregor's 42nd demolition of Donald Cowboy Cerrone at UFC 246 tonight, last night, this morning, wherever it was for you. Wow. I mean, I started with the Cerrone little intro, yeah, a little tribute to Cerrone. Man enjoys a good party pack, Bud Light or Budweiser. Couldn't get my hand on a Budweiser, but pretty damn close. Because I got to get this out from the start. As amazing and impressive as McGregor was, this has to be seen in the context of what a poor matchup and what a poor state Donald Cerrone was for this fight. I mean, it's tough to say for such a legend, a Hall of Famer, a guy who's broken so many records, head kick knockouts, just general knockouts and all-time fights in the UFC. To see him just going out there and being smashed up like that so early, it's pretty painful to watch. Like, I mean, McGregor looked great. Apart from the first haymaker over the top, it was essentially a flawless performance. And man looks fucking jacked. Yeah, he looked fucking swole as if he'd been on bench press before he got into the octagon. Physique looks incredible. That's the third 170 fight he's had. The first one, he was a bit overblown, eating a bit too much breakfast, a bit thick around the stomach. The Nate fight, he'd trimmed down a bit, but now he looks like he's built his physique up to support it, and he's lean at 170, so he really looks at home there, you know. Again, we're talking about he lost Cerrone, Usman, and Masvidal are a different kettle of fish altogether, but McGregor looked good in there tonight. There's this thing about Cerrone, Jekyll and Hyde, you don't know, he literally says himself, literally from the horse's mouth, he does not know until the day of the fight which Cerrone's going to turn up. Like, it's Dan Bilzerian bet $1 million on him last night. He's the last fighter literally the last fighter you can bet on, because he himself does not know. Coming into this fight, he's basically 50-50. Coming in, he'd lost 6 of the last 10, now it's 7 of the last 10. And you go back, he was on that nice run, and he wins 2, loses 2, wins 2, loses 2, and obviously now it's a really poor record at this stage. And you know, just how he says he doesn't know which one's going to turn up. I was trying to analyse his body language and behaviour over the week. And I know you got to be settled and chilled, and you can't read into it too much if a fighter is not like super amped up and saying how much he's going to smash the guy. But, I mean, if Cerrone was any more laid back, he was going to fall over. Do you know what I mean? Like, just joking and laughing the whole week. Like, well, they say I don't turn up for the big one. Well, let's see, you know, and you want a bit of aggression. Like, even at the stare down when McGregor finally decided to turn up the aggression, Cerrone was still just being so pally, and you couldn't escape the feeling all week that Cerrone was just happy to be there for his money fight, you know, the famous Red Panther fight, and then McGregor was just not going to let this slip, and he was going to make the statement that he had to. You know, and to see Cerrone like that, and then when he got knocked out saying, like, I'm happy, I just want to keep fighting, the shades of Chuck Liddell, you know, just a little bit punch drunk, with no disrespect meant. Actually, there was one quote in his preview interviews which I couldn't believe. Like, he was doing a sit-down interview with Brett Okamoto at the place he was staying in Vegas, and I'll try to bring this up if I can find the clip. He was talking about...
Maybe we didn't even know.
Yeah, who's the guy that does this? What's his name? Eddie Alvarez. Yeah. So he put me in the clinch, hit me with like 48 unanswered uppercuts.
Like right off the bat,
right? Right off the bat. Kaboo, 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 kaboo. And I remember it. I was like, oh, and
then... profile name. It's not as if he's like some jobber down the list whose name could slip your mind. Man, that beard's repeating on me a bit, sorry. I mean, MMA is like my third sport. Like, alright, I've got pretty crazy encyclopedic memory when it comes to names. But like, I could never forget the name Eddie Alvarez, the way he's associated with McGregor, and it's just a name that rolls off the tongue. And Cerrone couldn't think of his name. He's like, who's that guy who comes out like this? And I'm like, wow, I mean, is there a mild bit of CTE going on there with a guy like who's just been around the block too long? I know you might think I've gone a bit too long on Cerrone there, but I just don't think you can overstate how bad he was. And I'm going to highlight 2 moments from the fight to underline this. Like, there's nothing really to say about McGregor. It was brilliant. He came in and smashed him from start to finish. Only missed with the initial haymaker over the top. That was the only shot he missed with. I think it's 24 out of 25. I just saw Chael Sonnen say 24 shots landed out of 25, one of which was a head kick. Others were shoulders. He planted 3 shoulders on him in the clinch. We got to get to those shoulders, because I actually think they're the worst part of Cerrone's performance, if you want to call it a performance. He was only in there for 40 seconds. So, starting off, when they go to touch gloves, and when Herb Dean is giving them the lowdown, you know, Cerrone looking super chilled out, like I said just now, but to see him winking, no suggestion of a grassy knoll or conspiracy or that he dived. It wasn't a wink, like a surreptitious wink to say, yo, like, we got this. But what are you winking at him for? Like, that's disappointing to see, that you would be that chilled out that you could wink just as the fight starts, yeah? And then, into the fight, McGregor throws the first punch, Cowboy ducks under it, and then they get into a clinch. And McGregor throws 1, not 2, but 3 shoulders to his face, one of which seems to have broken his nose. And the docility with which he just accepted those shoulders. What were you doing? Like, do something. I mean, I've seen more proactive clinches at a fucking LSD rave. Like, he was just clinching them like this and doing nothing to take those 3 shoulders. Inexplicable. Really inexplicable. And then McGregor ended him with ruthless, devastating blows, ground and pound him. And you know, McGregor went and got the W that he needed to get and that he insisted he was absolutely confident he would get. Yeah, rocking the fly hawk top. My Thailand mates will know what this is about. It's a bit of a tribute to Thailand, where I'll be back soon. Missing Thailand a bit, so just got to wear this after the gym, you know. Yeah, I mean, they were the points I wanted to get across, mostly about emphasize how bad Cerrone was. It's a bit of a cliche to say, take nothing away from McGregor, because it will sound like I'm taking away from McGregor. Sometimes, unfortunately, you actually do have to take a little bit away. You can't just come out with the cliche and say, oh, take nothing away from him, but the other guy sucked. You know, I probably am taking a bit away from McGregor. But yo, that's my take on it, that Cerrone is just a bit of a can at this stage and had no place in there at all. And so, yeah, we see how good physically McGregor looked at 170, but we can't then extrapolate and say, yeah, he's ready for Usman or he's ready for Masvidal, just based on 40 seconds of absolutely battering up a guy who looked like he got into the wrong bar fight with the wrong guy. You know, I don't think we can read too much into it, apart from a solid, 3 points on the road, to use the football lexicon, for McGregor. So yeah, there we go. I'm not shitting on McGregor, like, I just don't think, I think there's more to say about Cerrone than there is about McGregor in the 40 seconds. That's the way I look at it. I don't think you can, wax lyrical that he managed to smash 3 shoulders at him. I think you got to be asking massive questions of Cerrone in receiving those shoulders so easily. Then McGregor's head kick is picture perfect. And then he did the rest. You know, the rest was history. That was all she wrote. So there you go. Thanks for watching the vlog, guys. And yeah, toast to Cerrone. It's been a hell of a ride, but it might be time for you to walk off on your horseback into the sunset. Yeehaw!